What's happening, MJ traders and investors? It's Rod with Power Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth for an MJ Sector review. Today's a review for Hump Day, Wednesday, August 4th. Hope you were all awesome out there today. And in today's video is the main topic of the day. We're going to be discussing Sundial Growers announcing second quarter 2021 financial results on August 12th. So we're going to do a deep dive on the SNDL chart. We are right at support as well. So I do want to just take a little bit of extra time and do some detailed analysis on that. But before we do, like we normally do, we'll run through the news and the events on the day today, and then we'll look at the SNDL chart in detail. So we'll do some analysis on that and what to expect leading up into earnings next week. And then we'll look at the rest of the Canadian and the US space. And I do want to highlight some similarities between the SMG, which is Scott Miracle-Gro Company, and the MJ space. So before we jump in, make sure to smash the like, subscribe to the channel. I'll put some timestamps in the description below for your convenience as well. But Sundial Growers to announce second quarter 2021 financial results on August 12, 2021. So that's next Thursday. And just want to double check that. Yep, next Thursday. And that's going to be after market close. And then they're going to be hosting a conference call and webcast at 10:30 a.m. the following day, Eastern Time, August 13th. So I'll be tuning into that as well, and details are there for you to join as well. So Goldenberg appointed CEO of Canadian MJ firm Organigram. So Goldenberg previously served as the CEO from Supreme, and that was acquired by Canopy Growth in the deal that closed in June. So before that, she worked as CEO of the food company in Celestial Canada, and Organigram cited Goldenberg's success in post-transaction integration in announcing her hiring in a Wednesday news release. So cool to see that we have a woman CEO here again, because we know that it's fairly dominant in the male in this space. So nice to see that some diversification there as well and balancing of those roles. But let's see if that can help the company, as Organigram has been struggling a lot, along with a lot of other companies at the moment in the MJ space, quite frankly. But Irwin Simon maps out path to Tilray's potential $4 billion in revenue by 2024. Not going to go over this whole article, but I encourage you to check that out. That's pretty significant. And if we can see, Tilray, if Tilray is going to have $4 billion in revenue by 2024 potentially, and they strongly believe that, what's that going to mean for other cannabis companies like CGC, Hexo, for example? I think Hexo has strong potential to exceed that as well, because we have Redecan coming, the closing of that deal coming soon as well. So you can't help but wonder what's it going to be? What are other companies' revenue going to be like? We know that Hexo could potentially have even bigger market share in terms of recreational sales. So going to be extremely interesting. I'm excited for the future. I know there's not a whole lot to be excited about at the moment with the bloodbath that's going on, and so many people are, it's that time where retail speculators and retail investors are starting to talk about price. And I do want to go over that here as well. So I did mention that if you look at some of these share prices, even Tilray, if you look at the share price of Tilray last year, we're still up about 100%. So even though we're down 81% on the Tilray chart from the $67 high in February, there's still some investors who invested a year ago that are up 100%. So it's all about perspective, and you just need to zoom out. So taking a look at the SNDL chart. And before we jump into the SNDL chart, I do want to highlight some similarities here on the SMG chart. So Scott's Miracle-Gro has been consolidating, and that was right around the same time, right around February is where we had that second push higher here a couple months later, and that new all-time high at 254.34, and then we ultimately confirmed a weekly downtrend. But we went into monthly consolidation right around the same time as MJ, and here we are potentially going to bounce off EMA 26 support here. So going to be watching. That's been holding as support ever since the lows here. And we lost it briefly here back in December of 2018. But you can see here that EMA 26 has been holding ever since 2018. So I expect it to be strong support, at least at the first initial attempt. So just starting to question whether or not we can see a potential bottom. We're going to be watching for clues in the SMG chart to see if that can mark a bottom in the MJ space as well. But taking a look at the SNDL chart, so we are right near key support there at 76.87. After that, we have a lack of support down until 65 cents. And just I want to highlight the weekly chart here. So we are still well below the weekly moving average there at 90 cents. The stochastic and MACD are extremely bearish at the moment as well, but we are holding that 50 weekly moving average, which is sitting at 74 cents. So if you are looking to potentially enter a position. Just know that going into earnings, it's going to be a gamble. We also have Canopy and Kronos reporting on Friday this week, so we'll look for direction, but a lot of earnings coming up here for our Canadian LPs, and going to see whether or not, we know Tilray had a favorable reaction and bull reaction initially, and we'll see if that can carry through the momentum for the rest of the sector here, with a lot of earnings on deck here this week and next week. But SNDL will be the big one next week on Thursday, and Canopy and Kron on Friday this week. So like I said, if you're looking to make an entry, you could even enter here now with a stop below that 74-cent area and look to bottom fish this here, as we know that once the weekly bounce gets underway, we have no real weekly resistance on SNDL into $1.49. So, and then we have the 100 weekly moving average there at 135 as well, which could act as resistance. We are trying to avoid a daily death cross. So we have the daily 50 still avoiding that 200 daily moving average, but if we see that 50 cross down through the 200, that is going to be bearish and imply a lot more downside. But so far, bulls are pleased, as bears are not seeing that follow through. Hexo still, actually it did cross here. It slipped my mind that it did happen yesterday. So we've seen that on a lot of names. Tilray has yet to see it. It was Tilray I was confusing it with, but it's extremely close. So if we see, maybe we need to see Tilray and SNDL have their death crosses. I know that's not what a lot of people want to hear, because that would imply more downside even from these current levels, with Tilray down over, down over 81%. But CGC had its death cross all the way back in June, at the beginning of June. So just questioning how much downside has been accounted for, and if we're going to see that much more downside, with a lot of names already having their death crosses confirmed. So it's entirely possible that we go higher from here, and SNDL, maybe SNDL and Tilray are just not going to have their death crosses, and they're going to stand out, maybe potentially even lead the pack. We'll have to wait and see. No one has a crystal ball, but at the moment, trying to avoid that death cross, and that's going to be on the radar here. And like I said, watching that 50 weekly moving average there at 74, going to be strong support in my opinion. But if we do lose 74, lack of support down to 65 cents, and we're nowhere near daily oversold, and we haven't touched down on daily oversold after that massive run up there in February and that massive short squeeze. So overall, holding up quite well here compared to some of our other names. If you take a look at Hexo extremely daily oversold. Daily RSI was down to, in the teens, down to 17. But one thing I just want to point out on the 12-hour chart, we do have some bearish, or some bullish rather, RSI divergence. So you can see here we got lower highs and lower lows. The price is trending down. And then the RSI is seeing higher lows and higher highs here. So we've got some bullish 12-hour time frame RSI divergence. So going to see whether or not this could be potential bottom being marked as well. We do have key support coming up at 358. And we got as low as 370 today USD. So, pretty close there, only about 3% away, I believe it was. So from the low of the day, we'll say 369, close enough. So yeah, about 3.5% away. So I unloaded some SPXS today, and EMA 12 has been rock solid resistance as well. So a lot of names need to close over their EMA 12. But like I said, that RSI bullish divergence is what we want to see. And if you're looking to potentially time the bottom here and bottom fish, like I said, down over 60%, some names over 80% Tilray. But personally, I switched when we lost that 550 area on Hexo. We had a weekly inverse head and shoulders that we were watching. When we saw that fail, I exited a lot of that position at 550, and since then I've just been scaling back in. I actually added SPXS. And then when SPXS was down a couple of days ago, I sold some of that. And when it was up and the SPY was down, rather, it was a short ETF, the SPY ETF, inverse ETF. So I've just been selling SPXS. I still got a little bit of SPXS left, and I will look to exit that and add if we get closer to that 350 area. But we're sitting here at 376 flat after hours. Just take a look at some of our other names here as well. So on the bull and bear list, on the bear list, we had Labs, N, and Hexo leading the decline today, and there was absolutely no bulls on the list today. So a sea of red out there today. And like I said, bulls are struggling at the moment. and not set up well if the S&P 500 sees any real weakness. Tilray on the daily time frame still just searching for that daily higher low compared to 1254, and at this point favoring an equilibrium, and topped out at EMA 12 again, but not seeing a whole lot of volume, and we didn't see much consolidation today. We did break the low of yesterday by a couple pennies, but not much follow through. So moving on to the US space. So on the bull and bear list, we had FLGC, Harv, KHRN. Leading the decline. On the bull list, we had BioHarvest, BAM, and PLTH. Can't wait to check out Planet 13. Actually, I've got a trip to Colorado here planned in the coming months in October, and that's one of the places I'm going to be hitting up is Planet 13. Can't wait. Let me know in the comments below if you've ever been to Planet 13, what your thoughts are. I'm really looking forward to it. But in terms of the US overall, US space, MJ space, you can see here that daily consolidation on MSOS, but again, struggling with that EMA. So if we can close a daily candle over EMA 12, that is going to be bullish. And we can start to see some momentum shifting to the bulls. All right, thanks for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth for an MJ Sector review, and we'll see you tomorrow after market close.